Okay, we're gonna open up for Q&A. So if you guys have questions for Adam, go ahead and raise your hand digitally. Don't do it physically because I won't see you.
Tim,
But
I'll definitely stay for Q&A. If you don't mind, though, I will have to drop off the
oh,
small group thing. Is that okay?
yeah, totally,
Q&A,
totally.
yeah, I'm here for
Yeah,
as long as you want.
okay,
If
great.
there are any cues.
Okay, Andrew, go ahead. Unmute.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tim. How are you?
Doing
Hey,
good.
Adam, how you doing? This is fantastic. I came in a little late, missed a lot of the juicy stuff, but you were on a roll when I got here, so it was fantastic. Anyway, I feel like I got a full meal. My question was, do you have any recommendations as far as the websites? There's a lot of marketing companies. I'm a marketer myself, but you want to know the right styles and what's working as far as the
Yeah.
templates and the funnels, websites, examples, stuff like that. Could you point me in that
Yeah, I
direction for
can.
everyone?
Okay, so I actually wrote a book. If it's okay with you, it's like $7 book. It's not a big
Okay.
deal. Can I just put a link in the thing here?
Yeah.
So we build websites for our clients, and we've identified optimal website architecture. So there are certain things that you absolutely need to have in your website. Strip everything away, and you've got a kind of a skeleton structure onto which you can build. So I'm going to put this, if you don't mind. It also, again, I didn't expect to do this. I don't mean to be crass or anything. It is $7, but and if you don't like it, let me know. I'll send you money back. Anyway, it's here. It's a $7 book, and then there's some training that comes with it as well, where I walk through the logic of how to build this. So that is the foundation for what you need, Andrew, right? Is that who's yeah. That's the foundation for what you need, because you've got to have the right structure first. And this goes through every single aspect of that. As far as the tech stack, is that what you're asking about, or are you talking about
that as well? Keep you on a roll. Yes, sir.
Okay,
That's
so
beautiful.
the tech stack. So what we use again, I'm a realist. I come out of real estate, right? It's
yes.
all I really know. And so I just figured out how to, and I did them, my first one, in fact, I still do, but I build them myself. I learned how to build them. I did a lot of research, and I just figured out the fastest way to get the best results, the easiest possible way. So to get from A to Z as fast as possible without any distractions. So this is what I use and have done for years, and it works well. WordPress site, I like Beaver Builder, which is a drag and drop builder. It's like ridiculously easy to use. You don't have to know any code. There's zero code. It's drag and drops. It's like a PowerPoint presentation. And then
You said it was Divi, D-I-V-I builder. Is that correct?
no, Beaver Builder, like a little
Beaver, like
beaver, the thing that build
okay.
dams. Yeah,
Okay.
Beaver Builder. Yeah, yeah. I love this platform. There are others that are similar, but this is the one that I use. Oh, here we go. Advertise. I'll give you the non-thing here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't get any. I don't. What's this here? Build your website with ease. Yeah, Beaver Builder.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, Beaver Builder. That's the one. I've been using it for years. We build all of our websites, all of our client websites using this. It is stupid easy to use. It's robust. It's reliable. We don't have any security issues, and it has some features that are incredibly powerful that allow you to turn from sign up to invest now across your entire website. It's called a global row. That's a bit too in the weeds. Then the lead gen forms that we like to use, and I know there's a lot of people use, it's like the rigor is GoHighLevel, but I really don't like that platform at all. Their business model does not lend itself to high deliverability rates. Their deliverability rates are very low. That's largely because of the way their business model is structured. Again, different discussion. So we use a platform called Kit. It used to be called ConvertKit. Kit is really good because their deliverability rates, I'll just keep popping these in the thing here, incredibly high.
Yes, sir.
They're incredibly high deliverability rates, best in the industry, actually. So that means your emails are reaching inboxes. Their support is amazing. So is Beaver Builders, by the way. They'll jump into your website and help you troubleshoot stuff. They will actually, you give them access and they'll jump in and do it for you. It's really fantastic. Kit is like that. And the other thing I like about Kit is their logic sequences are very easy to build. So if you want an if or yes, no, funnel. Yes, he said yes,
Yeah.
no, he said no.
If this, then that. Got it.
If this, then that, then there's
Mhm.
are very easy to build. So those are the basic, that's the basic tech stack. Obviously, we use a lot of other tools, but that's the basic stuff.
Good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, with the Beaver Builder, is there any specific WordPress theme that you like?
No, I actually build themes from Kit is Kit. The link is there, CB, right above your note, Kit. Yeah. No, we build our own themes. I don't use, they have a thing called, I'll have to open up my website, but I think it's called a child theme. Let me see. I'm not logged in, but it'll take me just a second to do that. So I don't use themes. No, the challenge that I found with themes is that they tend to interfere. They have a lot of code built into them, and I prefer to build websites that are optimized for real estate. And let me see. Here we go. Yeah.
And yeah, while you're looking for that, since you
Yeah.
mentioned Origin as one of your clients, did you build their website?
They're not a client. I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know Michael because I've known him for a while.
Gotcha.
They're not a client, and we didn't build their website.
Okay.
Oh, fantastic.
Beaver Thema.
I
It's
know.
called
him.
Beaver Thema. Yeah, Beaver.
Okay.
Jumping out of the meeting right now.
Someone's talking. Mute them out.
Yeah,
Beaver Thema is the thing there. Yeah, but we built dozens of. Yeah, I'll give you an example of it. You want to see one of the websites we built?
yes.
There's not many that I can actually really share. My clients. It's the funniest thing. It's actually, I'm cursed. The first time somebody asked me for a reference, I asked my clients, seriously, this really happened. So can we give me a reference to one of your clients? So I call Max. I won't say exactly who, but anyway, I called him and I said, hey, listen, can I give you as a reference? He was pissed. He was annoyed that I'd even asked him. And the reason I think he was annoyed was he thought I was only doing it for him. And he thought of me as a secret weapon, and he didn't want anybody else to know. He didn't want anyone else, and he certainly wasn't going to give me a good reference. It's like I had to I'm serious. I thought he was going to fire us. So I said, don't worry about it. So I never give references now. I have a testimonials page, but I can share this. So this is George Bravante. This website we built, soup to nuts. This is top to bottom. This is George. We named the company. It's an unusual asset class, but you wouldn't. George is amazing. The people that invest with him, I guarantee 100% the companies his investors run. It's like unbelievable. We built this website. There's a really good example. This is classic architecture, classic lead gen structures, the education section. There's everything is in there. It's really good footer. It's got a really good footer. It's a really good website.
Yeah, I like it. Very clean.
Yeah, it's
very
also
super-
optimized for capital raising. So just click on join the wait list. That's the first thing you gotta have.
Right.
You gotta have give me a
Well,
name
just-
and email address.
Just the term wait list, it's already there's psychological that goes into that versus join my newsletter or join my whatever list,
Yes.
right? But wait list is a different.
Yeah, we actually we
like-
split tested these terms a lot, Tim. And waitlist is very powerful. In fact, it's the same term that we were talking about Origin investments a little while ago. So they raised $105 million in 19 hours. How did they do that? They started 12 months ago. That's how they did it. That's what I raised or helped George raise 4 million in 4 hours in a little bit earlier this year. How did we do that? We started 11 months ago. That's how we did it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
Very
Vincent Lentino's got his hand up.
Yes,
Hey,
Vince, go ahead.
Hey, Tim, how are you, Tim? Nice to see you again. And Adam,
Good
great.
seeing you, buddy.
So great stuff today. We're not newbies. We've been in the trenches for a while. So we're large scale developers in Texas and Florida.
Okay.
And we have sourced some different advisory firms from Manhattan to LA that have taken over and handle a lot of our projects as far as raising the debt, and sometimes a combination of debt and equity. And then everybody, when we sign up with one advisory firm, whatever it is, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 a month, or whatever it is, it's part of that doing business. And that's what we need, because it's hard for us to do retail investors. For us, we need bigger check writers, 12 million, 20 million. So sometimes we go to the platforms. What I do, I guess what I'm getting at is your firm is like Fully integrated, meaning you're going to handle an advisory sort. Is that analytics? Does it include analytics? Because we have FAs that handle our analytics. Does your firm like it?
Yeah, we do analytics as in what?
Like just running models, because our models are new construction, we're new developments. So a lot of times we take engineering models to our financial analysts and then turn that into a financial model of IRRs and all that other good stuff in our programs.
In terms of your pro formas, you mean?
Right.
The outside?
Right, yeah.
So I don't typically build pro formas. I've built a lot in my career and I know how to build them. We typically, when I say we, I mean me.
Okay.
Or I. But oftentimes our clients, so we come in as a marketing firm, all right, but there's a lot of marketers out there, especially in capital raising, it's become commoditized.
Yeah.
But the real value that our clients get out of working with us and specifically working with me is that I understand this industry backwards and forwards. I've been in it for 40 years. Our clients, I think our smallest client has 100 million of A, and our process involves a sequence of interviews where I interview our client in order to extract their DNA. I describe it as getting their DNA. So I get to know them extremely well. And in knowing them as well as I do, I'm able to share insights, not personal. I would never share anything confidential, but I'm able to share insights from my own career, from my own experience, and what I can see going on in the market with clients that help them structure their offerings. For example, George is a good example. I know you won't mind me mentioning this, but when he and I first met, he wanted to do, and he comes out of a institutional commercial real estate world. He worked with Tom Barrack in the 90s. Yeah, they just really huge scale. And George wanted to run classic IRR structure or hurdle structure. So I think it was I forget exactly, but it was like a 80 over an 8 to a 70 over a 10 to a 60 over a 12, and then whatever, 50 over a 15, whatever. He had this structure. But they were long-term deals. All of that, this 4-hour raise that we did, that was for a development deal, no income for 4 years and a minimum 12-year lifespan, right? If you're ground up, this is a challenge you face as well. So I said to him, because there's why are you doing IRR hurdles? If anything slows you down along the way, you're never going to hit those hurdles. And now you're put in a position where you have this misalignment of interest with investors because you're trying to chase a hurdle. So you go back into your spreadsheet and think, if I don't hit 15, I'm not going to get my 70%. So it makes sense for me to sell now, jack up the IRR, get a bigger return, even though I'm leaving money on the table, because if I have to wait another year or two, I might not hit this hurdle. I'm not going to make as much money. So it's a misalignment of interest. So I recommended to George, we should use a equity multiple hurdle, actually. So we actually change it up. So the input that I give is strategic. It's not something I market, unfortunately. I'm not really sure how to. I don't know why I was thinking about this. How do I market my strategic advice and insights that are actually where the value our clients get from me? I was thinking it's really difficult to do that, because how do you market to somebody who already thinks they know everything that you're going to advise them on what they know best?
I think, Adam, what you said makes a lot of sense. Some of our projects are 500 acres and they take a while to develop, but we do have different components to sell off. So it becomes more complicated when you have a retail and multifamily component, and then you have the big national builders in the back of the project, right? So I think what happens is we've had different advisory groups tell the story, right? So I think, and Tim, I think where we got underrated a lot of things is that we didn't tell a good enough story. And I think somebody can come in and market it. And that's where you come in, Adam. It's basically your firm you're going to tell the story about what we are. That's put it at a terms where the investor sees the value. We're good at sourcing the deals and getting it done. We're not marketers, right? So we got to the point where we are by not needing marketers, because capital was easy 30 months ago. And then we had to form a new company a capital company just to support the development company and going after family offices and grind it out. But we never had to seek money.
Yeah. And you're Gromax, are you?
Yeah, we're Gromax is two Gromax Development, Gromax Capital Partners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, it's fairly obvious that the website is not optimized for capital.
No, that's that website that if you looked at Gromax Capital Partners is the one that feeds Gromax Development. My partner's older man. We never needed a website. So GromaxCapitalPartners.com, that's the one. That's the updated version.
Okay.
So I think that you looked at the older one, Tim.
Well, that's what I mean.
Just
It's
GromaxCapital.com.
Yeah, Gromax
Not partners on the
Capital.com.
website.
Okay, who just said that?
That's my partner, Kiera.
That's me. Sorry. I had to
Gromax-
correct him on the website.
Yeah,
All right,
sorry.
but you're in Houston. Yeah, I know Houston very well, actually.
Did you find it? Gromax Capital?
Yeah, I got it. Okay, but even here, there are some small tweaks that just some low-hanging fruit that you can work with. And the one thing that is missing, I can tell this even without looking, is exactly what you just said to Tim.
Story.
And that is who you are. Yeah, what is your investment thesis? And what's your background? Basically, look, you've raised a lot of money. And every time you go into a meeting, I know this because this is what I used to do. Every time you go into a meeting, you are repeating the same story again and again. Who are you? What's your background? Why do you like what you do? Tell me. So it's the term I learned in San Diego in the 80s was a dog and pony show. You go through the same dog and pony show again and again. But that process is what raises capital. Yeah. What you need to do is to transfer that into the digital realm, because these days, as nice a guy as you are, people don't want to sit down and be pitched. They want to be able to use this device to be able to figure out, who is this guy? Can I trust him? I looked at the development thing. You're all over Houston. You guys are players in that market.
We've done a lot in Florida. We're big in Florida, but it has to be reflected on. That's a new site. I guess sometimes when a spider. My partner's 70-something years old, and he's used to never having to go outside the window to ever grab money. So we asked them, just put something on there. We didn't do the website for them. It's separate than the other company. So I'm partners in both, and we never had to go outside the window to raise money. Yeah. But in today's world, things have dramatically changed in the last 4 years. And Tim's done a good job with letting us know about the technology. And instead of me just calling a platform and say, hey, I need you guys to come involved, a VC company, and then bail it out, I need to have other strategies than just that.
Yeah, this is something that we see a lot, actually. We work with family offices whose third generation owners and operators it's a very common story is they'll say, yeah, my grandfather founded the company and we've got these investors. We do 506Bs all the time because we know everybody. But that generation of investors is getting really old. They don't want to invest anymore. They're tired. They're just thinking about inheritance and how they can just leave money to their kids and their family and their grandkids. And so this new generation is looking for their next generation, for that generation that will carry them through to their children and their children's children. So it's a common feature of the kind of clients that we work with. Another one, incidentally, is clients who are used to raising capital from institutional partners. Larry Feldman, for example, in Florida, Feldman Equities. Larry's a good friend, and I can tell you this because I'm pretty sure he said it in either a podcast or one of the videos I produced for him on his website. But he said that he wanted to be a captain of his own ship. He'd raised money from institutional capital throughout his career. And I've also raised capital from institutional capital. I've run institutional development or development arms of institutions, and they retain material decision rights. So whenever you have to make a major decision, take on debt, exit, take on a big lease, so these big decisions, you got to have a committee. So I don't want to run my company by committee anymore. And so we've helped them transition away from institutional partners to a blend of institutional and individual investors. But I'm not sure if I answered your first question.
You did, because you handle that aspect. So we've used companies like George Smith Partners, I can say. They're out of
Yeah, I
Manhattan,
know George
LA.
Smith.
Okay, Ed Stefflin's a good guy that we signed up. They're good. They source the debt for us. So what we do, I guess we get the easy route a lot of times, and then we go to the advisory firms and fund us that way. But what happens is sometimes you get yourself a boss. When you get one check, you get a boss out of them. So it's okay, but the bosses can wear out your development side of the fence.
Yeah.
Our job
And
is
and those are JV relationships.
there's some JVs simple start out a simple GPLP structure, whether they fund it by an SPV fund or funds to funds or however else the structure is, they will have a majority stake for bringing all the money, of course.
Yeah.
But it is like the boss. So we do have bosses in some of our deals, but yeah, you bring $45 million, we got to answer to you, right?
It's fine. Exactly. Yeah. KBS did the same thing. They were at the time, they were the third largest office owner in the world. Chuck Schreiber, who is the S in KBS, is a good friend. And they decided to do some crowdfunding's the wrong word, but some raise money from retail investors. Again, a term I'm not that keen on, but for high net worth individuals. And their minimum was 10,000. And I said to Chuck, I asked him why. You can pick up the phone this afternoon and raise 100 million. Why are you even bothering with $10,000 checks? And he said, this is very important. He said, because when there is first of all, you want to have multiple streams of capital. You need to have options, not just one. You need to have multiple streams, because when the economy shifts, particularly when it goes down, those institutions, they just dial back. We saw that just a few weeks ago when the stock market tanked after the tariffs were announced. What happened was that all of these institutions' portfolio balances went out of whack. And so suddenly the stock market, the value of their stocks, simply stated, dropped. And so their real estate holdings came out of balance with where they were allowed. They were allowed to hold them because proportionally, suddenly, it was worth a lot more than it should have been. And so there was this pressure to sell and divest of real estate. So there's different drivers on the institutional side than there is on the private side. So by having private equity resources, you can dial into those when you need them, when your institutional partners have gone to ground for whatever reason.
And that's why we had joined with Tim's group, and we wanted to get some more of the groundwork, which is some, as they call, retail investors, that we have meetups for, things like that, because it just can't be all the big boys, because the big boys left us 30 months ago in the development world when they pulled out, when the Fed doubled the rates. And that's when we stumbled. And the institution money has not come out, and family offices act just Blackstone. They're no different. They want the same requirements as the banks used to want. So things have changed on that end. Companies like your companies are the catalyst to companies like us success as we scale up, because we're going to be 4x where we are in the next 12 months as we position. But what you're saying is the alarms are being rung. We know that. We're cautious. We see what's there. But in our world, the D.R. Hortons and Lennar is going to build homes. So we know they're going to want the lots when he turns around.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's an interesting asset class that you have. We've had clients that are, I'm not actually, let's see. So yeah, I'm not sure what scale you are exactly, but who basically are entitlement shops, basically. Buy the land, entitle it, tee it up, and get a seller.
We go all the way. We're full from the beginning to the title.
You develop as well, ground up.
So we're full developers all the way to the end. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk to you further if you want. We can certainly.
Yeah, actually, look, we throw money at people. There are bad actors out there, as Tim has known. Sometimes it happens. Everybody looks and sounds the same. So you give them a shot, and then you pull the plug. We're just results, man. We just want people who can perform. We pay people who perform. Cheap work is, you get cheap stuff. You pay good doesn't necessarily mean.
Yeah, it's funny because when I started doing this 10 years ago, 2014, so a little bit over 10 years, I was basically the only guy doing it. It was the craziest thing. There was no one else out there teaching or helping sponsors raise capital. And now I'm on LinkedIn and it's all I see. It's, oh my goodness, these huge conferences. Tim and there's some other guys out there do these big conferences. Thousands of people all saying the same thing. So how do you make yourself stand out? And this actually, on a personal level, this is exactly why I've started So, when I talked about avatar, your avatar is you. How else do you stand out in a crowded field where you as well, you're trying to raise capital, but there are thousands of capital raisers and allocators out there, all creating the same. It's just this level of noise that makes it difficult for guys like you to
Very
raise capital.
difficult. It's like like Tim said, like we talked about this with Tim, is like some people could put a good show on, but what they do is you can trick somebody online to get people to invest with you. There's good people, right? If you saw Madoff was very good at raising money on the golf courses in Long Island and New York City. And I know people put money to him, and he was like, hey, you're not allowed to invest. And you can't tell people money you can't invest, like you said, waiting list or whatever. If you tell a high net worth person,
that's all they want. Yeah, exactly.
They want to come in, right?
Yeah.
So I grew up in the Hamptons in the city. So I guess we have to go back to the old roots of showing up at events. Tim has said showing more up at events. But really, it's hard to do that. So the bad actors that are out there make it very difficult for us. They're promising 30% IRRs and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
So it makes it very.
Okay, I'll tell you something. Look, Vincent, we can spend a lot of time talking about this, and I probably should get back to what I was doing. But there are some things that you should do on your website. The Capital Partners one, a lovely voice from the ether came out and told me, well, that's why we were talking. I didn't know, where's that coming from? But yeah, there's some things, and if you wanted, I'd be happy to.
Yes.
No commitments or anything, but I'll tell you what you should do. It's without everybody else.
Yeah, you guys definitely should connect offline for sure. And so exchange contact and connect offline.
All right.
All right, Vince, you're all good. You're on mute.
I'm sorry to taking the time, but I appreciate it. I helped everybody else out too. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. Thanks, Vince. Adam, you have time for one more question because Edwin been raising his hand. Edwin, go ahead, unmute.
Hey, good stuff, guys. Mine, much different situation here from what Vincent just described. So a much smaller operator from the multifamily space and going into a smaller project in the assisted living space. So I was curious on your thoughts. So I've got a pretty decent list of investors that I've networked with over the years. And so I've held on to that list. So all syndicated myself. And so I've got a relationship with these individuals. I heard you talking about a website. And so in my project, we're talking about maybe $3.5 to $5 million project. Is it your recommendation to build a website for raising funds? Or what I've always done is the old school way, pick up the phone, maybe set up a meeting, obviously have a presentation ready, so on and so forth. But I haven't gone down the website route. And then eventually that website could eventually be the company website for the facility. So I'm not really sure if I should spend the money for something like that or go old school.
Yeah, it's a good question. And the way I would answer that is by saying it depends how much you want to scale. If this is the one deal that you're doing and you're only doing one deal, and you're able to raise the capital you need by having in-person meetings with existing friends and relatives and contacts, then why bother, right? Eventually your facility is going to need a website because you're going to need to attract residents, and you've got to find the children of prospective residents, and you've got to appeal to them. It's like a whole thing. Senior living is a whole expertise itself. But so if this is it for you, then you probably don't need one other than the website. Sorry, you don't need it, right? You could go old school. You can print out brochures and hand them off and talk to people. However, if you ever want to scale, if you actually want to do more than just one deal and raise money, there is no other way of doing it effectively than by being online. You can't do it. When did you ever buy a product? Maybe at a farmer's market, right? Where you actually meet the farmer and you buy an apple from him that he brought from the farm. Other than that, you have had contact, and whatever products you buy, you have some kind of digital relationship with them somehow, right? You know the name because you saw it on an ad. You saw it wherever, right? On Facebook, on LinkedIn, wherever you saw it, you know it because it's something on TV. You saw it in the digital realm first. If you want to scale, the other thing is it's incredibly time consuming to meet people in person and to network in person. Plus, as nice a guy as you are, no, and I think I said this earlier, nobody wants to sit down and be pitched. They don't want to be pitched. Honestly, he wants to meet me for lunch, but all I know is he wants to tell me about this deal. He wants to raise money from me. So I got to get myself ready for that and be prepared. And so people are just going to say no. Some will say yes. There'll be plenty who will avoid you at cocktail parties because of that. But if you've got everything digitized and they can look you up, Brotamonte, that's how your name's pronounced, Brotamonte. Right, so brotamonte.com, or however you want to call it, right? Or whatever your website is, something easy. They can figure you out without you ever having to have any conversation with them. And they will invest. I'll give you a superb example, actually. So we did a raise for a client. And if you build it properly, ideally, you will never have contact with your investors and they will never have contact with you. But it requires a sophisticated approach to building these things. What we do for our clients, what I teach. This is what will happen. So one of our clients said to me, occasionally, I run the IR function, not very often. There's all kinds of securities issues. So I'm very black and white. I don't live at any time in gray areas. But occasionally I do help our clients on the IR side. And so we ran this campaign. We raised, I think, 3.6 million or something, a couple of days. And at the end of the raise, my client said to me, so think about this question. Show me the list of who invested. Think about that for a start. What does that tell you? He didn't know who had invested. There was that little contact. He didn't even know who had invested because we set everything up to make it so easy for people to come into the funnel, show up at a webinar, make their investment, and then walk away happy. That there was no need for direct one-on-one. So he said, let me see the list of investors. So he went onto a screen share. I showed him the investors. And he said, oh my goodness, I can't believe that guy invested. And my heart missed a beat. I thought, oh my God, what have I done? Right? Who is this guy? Like somebody on some list somewhere that should never have invested. And he said, no, he said, I went to grade school with this guy. I've known this guy all my life. And he didn't even call me. He didn't even call me. He came through the entire funnel and invested without actually calling him. So what you'll find, just to wrap up here, Edwin and Tim, out of respect for you as well, what you'll find is with a good website, well set up, you will activate your existing network in a way you never imagined possible. All those people that would love to invest with you, but simply don't want to go through the brain damage of sitting down and listening to you tell them everything. They'll invest with you. You will activate your existing network. And that is a very important network for you to be raising money from at scale. That's it. I really should wrap up myself as well. Tim.
Yeah. Edward, it's good. Thank you so much, Adam.
Thank you.
Yeah, CB, we're running out of time unless your question's like super fast that Adam can answer in 30
CB,
seconds.
go for it.
Unmute. You unmute.
I have so much to ask. However, I'm going to shorten it. Adam, thank you for your presentation.
Sure.
I love it very much. So my question is, how can I learn more like you and find only quality
projects in life? Real estate projects.
I really love raising fund and I really love real estate. However, sometimes I just want to do one or two instead of everything because my last project consumed a lot of my energy. I'm the one who found a deal, found a tenant, negotiate this and that. It was a lot. I want to work with a team that has project so I can shine at where I'm good at instead of handling so much. That's where I want to be in the future.
Yeah. You've got to be very selective and identifying teams to work with or to ally. It depends on exactly what I mean. We're coming to this is actually a long discussion. But, yeah, go
Can I
ahead.
contact you? Can I volunteer?
Please, yeah, of course.
Do something like.
Yeah, I'd be happy to give you a little bit more detail. Let me think. Oh, Yukiko is here. Nakayama-san. You've been sitting there in the background, nice and quiet. Okay, here, CB, I'll put my email address in. Actually, I should send this to everybody, but in fact, I'll send this to everyone here. Feel free to reach out.
Thank
I
you.
love Yukiko Nakayama because she speaks Japanese, and so I get to practice occasionally. But if she'll let me, only if she'll let me, though. Oh, she just came back. All right, cool. Yeah, I understand exactly the challenge that you have. And it's one that I struggle with as well, actually. I'm extremely good at some things. One thing I'm not good at is acquisitions. I'm extremely good at underwriting opportunities and verifying a deal in ridiculous detail because I've done that institutional, but going out and trawling through hundreds and hundreds of deals until you find the right one, I don't like doing that. So I like to work with people that can do that, and then everything else comes together for me. But anyway, yeah, I'd be happy to chat a bit more if you like after.
Thank you. ありがとうございました。
どういたしまして。日本人ですか？そうじゃないでしょ。
中国人です、100%。
あ、そうなの。でも日本語できる？どうやって日
I
本語
just Japanese is cute and I love Japan. So
Wow.
yeah, はじめまして。どうぞよろしく。
I love it. I'm
loving
learning something. I learned something new about CB today. That's awesome. Love that.
You said something in Vietnamese. Vietnamese is a really, really tough. I don't even hear the music of Vietnamese. It's a difficult language. I was there for a while. Confirm you speak languages. Good grief. Something just popped up on my screen. I swear to you with Zoom, I think. Confirm you speak languages. It sounds like you may have switched to a different language. Please update it so we can provide better quality transcription.
Wow.
Good grief. I've never seen that before.
That's interesting. That's
Somebody's
very cool.
listening in on our conversation. It's probably Elon Musk.
Well, very cool. Adam, this has been a really wonderful, wonderful call. Thank you so much for spending this much time with us. Almost 2 hours you've been with us and answering everybody's questions. Really appreciate you. All right, let's take a group picture real quick before we let you go.
All right, while you're doing that, Tim, thank you for having had me on today. How cool is this? Yeah. What a great group. I meet with a lot of groups. This is really cool.
Thank you. Yep. All right, everyone, turn on your cameras real quick. And while you're doing that, I have a quick announcement to make for you guys. We're doing a 2-day virtual summit called the Commercial Real Estate Investors Association Wealth Summit for business owners tomorrow, the next 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday. And I'd love to have you guys join us. Make sure you click on the link there in the chat to join us. And while I'm setting up my cameras here. Okay. All right. Everybody ready for our group picture? Everybody get your camera turned on. Adam, for our group picture, we flex.
Oh.
There we go. There we go. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1. Yay. Awesome.